All right, so today we're going to do something a little different. We're going to take the lyrics from just one song and use them to build a complete profile of this really complex character who calls himself El Técnico Uno.
Right out of the gate, in the chorus, we get hit with this powerful contradiction. He says, look, money's not my issue. But in the very same breath, he tells us he's a full-on street-savvy gang member. You know, this one line, this is the key to unpacking his entire story.
So, who is the guy saying this? Let's use his own words, the lyrics, as a kind of roadmap to figure out who this man of many names and really many different worlds truly is.
And here's the thing, he doesn't just have one name. He actually introduces himself with several, and each one is like a key that unlocks a totally different part of his life.
Just think about that for a second. At any given moment, he's Pancho to his family back home, he's El Crique on the streets, and he's Technico Uno when he's on the clock. It's like three different people, three completely separate identities, all living inside one guy.
And this is what really drives the point home. He calls El Criquet his placazo. Now that's not just some casual nickname. A placazo is a formal street tag. It's an identity that has meaning. It carries weight in that world. And it's basically a declaration of who you are.
And his identity isn't just split between his names, it's also split between places. He is, without a doubt, a product of two very different cultures, and you can tell he carries both of them with him everywhere he goes. So on one hand, you've got Michoacán, Mexico. He says, I was born in the hot land. It's where his family knows him as Pancho, and it's the root of his pride in being Mexican. But then, on the other hand, you've got San Diego, California. That's where he was raised, it's where he has his barrio, his hood, and it's where he says he patrols. He's living in both of these worlds at the exact same time.
Okay, so let's get into the real heart of it all, the central tension in his life, because this is where it gets absolutely fascinating. It's this incredible contrast between his professional life and his street life.
Just look at this. On the professional side, he's very clear. I have my job, I have my business, and I work honestly. That's El Técnico Uno. But then on the flip side, he's just as clear. I'm a gang member, I am a thug, and, get this, I have gangster schooling. He doesn't try to hide one or the other. He just lays them both out there as if they're two equal parts of his reality.
And when he calls himself a malandro, he's doing more than just saying he's a bad guy. He is claiming an entire identity, one that's built on street smarts, on toughness, and it comes with this unspoken warning that he is not someone you want to cross.
And here, he's basically throwing out a challenge to all of us. He's saying, don't judge a book by its cover. You might see the guy who works an honest job, but don't you ever forget that the malandro is standing right there with him. They're one and the same.
So what's so wild about all this is that right in the middle of talking about being a gangster, he lays out this really specific personal code of conduct, a set of principles that he actually lives by.
And this right here, this is his anchor. It's his North Star. Above everything else, the worker, the gangster, the immigrant, he defines himself with this single idea. I am a person of respect. And this seems to be the one principle that lets him hold those two different worlds together.
And look at how this code is put together. It starts with gratitude to God and humility, always remembering that he came from nothing. It's built around this deep, unwavering love for his children and a fierce pride in his Mexican roots. But, and this is crucial, it ends with a very stark warning. Respect goes both ways, and he is always ready to defend his.
Okay, so let's put all of these pieces of the puzzle together and see what kind of picture we get. When you look at the whole man, told through his own words, who is El Técnico Uno, really?
Well, first and foremost, he's the immigrant. He tells us he came to the US to get ahead. That's the classic story, right? Full of ambition and the hope for a better life. Next up, he's the self-made entrepreneur. He's the guy who says, I came from zero, but who can now stand tall and say, I already have my business. I mean, that's the immigrant dream right there. Come to life.
He's also the devoted family man, and he doesn't just say he loves his kids, he calls them my adorations. It's a word that's so much deeper, almost like worship. It tells you everything about his purpose. And finally, you can't ignore it, he is the unapologetic gangster. The man who's got gangster schooling, who patrols his neighborhood in San Diego. This isn't a part of his past he's ashamed of, it's just part of who he is right now.
So that leaves us with one last thing to think about. Are we looking at a portrait of a man who's just full of contradictions, totally at war with himself? Or
Is this just what a modern, complex identity actually looks like? A reality where being a good dad, an honest worker, and a street-savvy gangster can all be true, all at the same time?